Coming up, I'll tell you about a sport with growing interest here in Bowling Green. A lot of people start playing sports at an early age, but here at the Inline Hockey League, even adults are giving it a try. Now, on August 1st, the NCAA will allow student athletes to have unlimited meals and snacks. With more athletes trying to make each team, the competition level has only gone up, and as most see it, that's only going to help. Coming up, I'll tell you about one local school who plays all their tennis matches on the road. And in the future, the Raiders look forward to having a home court advantage. They're not the only Warren County school having to deal with coaches taking a step down.
Right now, we have Extra Point reporter Zach Boyarski at Diddle Arena for what they're going to do tonight, here in about half an hour.
Hey guys, well these seats behind me are currently empty, but Coach Hurd and Lady Tops hope to see these seats filled here in about 45 minutes as they take on Ole Miss at 7 p.m. Now for the Lady Tops, this is one of their best starts in school history at 6-2. Now for Ole Miss, they're sitting pretty as well at 6-1. Now this isn't the first time Ole Miss has faced a Conference USA opponent. They played MTSU earlier this year where they suffered their only loss 71-65. And for WKU, it's another SEC opponent. They played Mississippi State earlier this year in the women's preseason NIT final where they took a loss. Now this game does have big implications for the Lady Tops. They received some top 25 votes earlier this year, and a win tonight could mean seeing the Tops in the top 25. Reporting live from Diddle Arena for the Extra Point, I'm Zach Boyarski. Back to you guys. As parents cheer on, kids are gearing up for another season of inline hockey. Those involved in the league say it's a breath of fresh air from the everyday youth sports.
It's a unique sport that not a lot of people are used to, so it brings a nice option to the sporting activities for children.
Parents say the fast-paced action is what has them ditching the bats and gloves for sticks and skates.
It moves really fast, it's really exciting, you're constantly moving so you're not sitting out in a field somewhere waiting for action.
But that's not the only reason why they're playing the game.
You don't have to have a great skill set when you start out. You can start out not really knowing a lot about it and jump right in.
A lot of people start playing sports at an early age, but here at the Inline Hockey League, even adults are giving it a try.
I was so young when I started playing, but I know so many people that just start out as adults, and they enjoy it so much.
And whether they're inline skating or ice skating, playing the sport is what the players love the most.
Just being on the rink, being able to skate out there, even if it's not on the ice.
And skating on ice is the next step they would like to see in the community.
Getting regular ice hockey, that would be fantastic.
Public skating or agility, speed skating, figure skating. There's so many options for not just kids in sports, but the community.
This is the future side of Warren East High School tennis courts. But the team hasn't always had the luxury of home courts.
We didn't even have matches at home, so we always played our matches here.
Right now, the Blue Raiders play their home matches at Karyakis Park in Bowling Green. And Coach Whitlock says it puts the team at a disadvantage.
Having to travel somewhere else kind of makes it difficult to be able to get a full practice in.
Senior Timothy Goodwin has been a part of the team since 5th grade, and he says not having home courts can put a damper on team spirit.
It's kind of hard to have pride in our tennis team, especially when we have to drive here every time for practice. The pride of home is a little bit lost here at Karyakis.
But Goodwin says not having an official home isn't all bad.
It's actually kind of helped us on the road a little bit because every match is a road match pretty much for us. So I mean that has been a positive for it.
And in the future, the Raiders look forward to having a home court advantage.
If you practice on the courts and play on the courts, you know the ins and outs.
And new courts bring a sense of eagerness to the team.
I'm looking forward to actually getting more practice time in, but they're just excited to actually have a home match for the first time in their lives.
In the East, there's not a lot of kids who are interested in tennis, and if you have nice courts, that gives some type of motivation of getting out there and playing. I think this is definitely a step forward for Warren East tennis, definitely.
Reporting for News Channel 12, I'm Zach Boyarski. Montrez Harrell with the dirty block, put that in the laundry or the dishwasher. You can choose whichever one. Then Trevor Lacey throws it up to Abdul Malik Abu for the nice alley-oop. So nice we had to show that twice. Now, time is running down in the first. Cat Barber goes for the circus shot. Harrell is there to block it, but it falls right back into Barber's hands. He finds Ralston Turner for the open three from downtown. But the Wolfpack Slack getting back on defense. Quentin Snyder here finds Terry Rozier in the corner, and that was about as far back as my dad's hairline, and he absolutely drains it. Then in the second, still a close game, Caleb Martin misses the layup at the front of the rim, but BJ Anya, more like Nunya business, slams it home. Just a few minutes later, Rozier grabs the rebound off the missed shot, and from there, it's off to the races. He'd go down and finish it off with an and one. He finished the night with 17 points, and the Cards in NC State's tournament run, Louisville gets the 75 to 65 dub to advance to the Elite Eight. Dom, when's the last time you did 78 or something?
Not 78, but I killed about 64 bars of Bobby Brown at karaoke about a week ago.
You sure did. That was a treat for everyone. So we'll start midway through the first. Sparty down one on a fast break when Gavin Schilling finds the ball for the two-handed slam. Later in the first, Michigan State always looking for the open man when finally Travis Trice pulls it from deep and right over a Cardinal defender. Trice ended the game with 17 points. Now, just a couple of minutes later, Rozier intercepts the Spartan pass, and he would take it all the way to the other side for the deuce. Now, in the second, Sparty turns it over in the backcourt once again, and who else is there? Terry Rozier. He'd get another steal and an easy basket. He had 4 takeaways on the game, a game high. So just under 8 to play when Denzel Valentine, he's going to find Trice for the open three. Splash brother or nah? I think so. So time is running out in regulation. Mango Mathiang fouled down in the post. He would make 1 of 2 free throws to send this game to overtime. So then later in overtime, Sparty, they're up 2, but they missed the 3. But Brandon Dawson is there for the putback right there, and that would be it.
And they're going to have a little bit better communication going against Wisconsin, something that they had better late in that game against Notre Dame. Wisconsin poses a lot of issues for Kentucky, at least height-wise. Kentucky hasn't really faced a team as tall as Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right, but my main concern is how they're going to stop Frank Kaminsky. He might be the National Player of the Year, but not also that, but also how they're going to stop their three-point shooting. Several players shoot above 38% for the Badgers. They're going to have to find a way to stop that.
And for Wisconsin, they've got the obligation of figuring out how to guard Karl Anthony Towns without getting in foul trouble. Wisconsin, many people don't know, draws the most fouls or commits the most fouls in NCAA basketball. And so trying to figure out how Kaminsky, Decker, Nigel Hayes stay in the game is really big. And for the opposite Final Four matchup, Jahlil Okafor is going to have to stay in the game for Duke.
That's right. And Michigan State, they're going to have to find a way to contain Jahlil Okafor because he's just a monster down low in the post. Most of his shots come from either a layup or a dunk. And so I don't know if Michigan State has quite the size to be able to stop Jahlil Okafor, but if the game gets down late, Okafor on the line, that could be tricky for the Blue Devils. He's not a very good free throw shooter, about 50% for the year.
Well, hey, March is Izzo's month. We'll see if he can do it in April as well. Now, Zach, how do you feel about the show?
I thought it went pretty good.
Okay, so if we could tell the director, we're going to wrap this rundown up and start the real thing.
What? Are you serious?
Now, that's an April Fool's joke. Good job, buddy. That's all the time we have tonight. You can follow us on Twitter at ExtraPointWKU.
And online at newschannel12live.com/extrapoint. That's all the time we have tonight. And as always, Josh, the extra point is up, and it's good.
No April Fool's there.
They look to get back on track after losing 4 straight. They got hot early. Fant gets the and one there. He had 17 on the night. And for the Tops, it was all about hustle and effort. Fant finds Jackson, who he'll find Johnson running the court, and Johnson is rewarded for his effort with the easy 2. FAU, though, not going down quietly. Solomon Poole has it going up on a Thursday, and he quiets the crowd. But TJ Price, he did what he does best. Clutch once again, drives the lane and lays it up. The Tops win 71-68. Don, 78 years, 78 miles, that's quite a feat. I certainly don't think I could do that.
78 laps, I can't get over that. I tell you, how many laps do you think you could get?
0, because if we're being honest, I can't swim, so I would have been at the bottom of the pool. Bowling Green and Warren Central fought for the title of District 14 champion this weekend. The Purples got fast early. Terry Taylor puts up the shot, but rebounds his own miss for the 2. And for the Dragons, it was the Savage and Amos show. Jared Savage finds Chris Amos for the sweet layup, no relation to the guy who makes the delicious cookies. Later in the game, Savage oops it up to Amos for another basket, but in the end, it was too much Purple. They win the District 14 championship, 67-56. They'll play Clinton County tomorrow night at 8 over at Diddle Arena.
Zach, this year they have proved that they can play together even with young crowd, but that time communication just wasn't the best.
No, not really. I think Marcus Lee maybe should have said, hey, look out below, Devin, or something to that short. I mean, be a good teammate, Marcus. Early on, the top-seeded Dragons feed the ball down low to Keenan Jordan. He lays it in for 2. Then the Dragons decide the 2's working well, so they'll try it for 3. Tracy Hampton drains the shot. Booyah! Warren Central's D turned up as well. Tristan Murray gets the steal here, hands it off to Hampton for the layup. He ended the night with 22 points. Later on, the Dragons go on a fast break. Jared Savage slams it home at the buzzer, but the men in stripes wave it off, no good. The Raiders got into action as well. Dylan Game drives the ball down the lane for a little teardrop. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow. He would finish with 15 points, but the Dragons were just so much in this one. They come up out on top, 96-58.
That midweek affair, those national TV games, kind of like Marshall last year, continues to build the national recognition of this program.
Right. I think those TV games are going to be huge, especially with this year. They have so much coming back on offense. Brandon Dowdy back for, a 6th year? And now you have Antoine Grant and Jared Dangerfield back as well. There's just going to be so many options to go with this year.
Yeah, and that's just the wide receivers. That's just what Coach Shepard gets to work with. Not even talking about Tyler Higbee at tight end or the 3, 4, 5 running backs that they have, including Ace Wales.
Yeah, this year it's just going to be interesting to see who they go to, but high-powered offense, I think that's really going to take them a long way in the long run.
Zach, you look at this team, so many weapons. Some say they didn't really rebuild, they just reloaded. When you look at this team, you look at all the weapons they have, what are your thoughts on this team right now?
Well, first of all, starting off, like we just talked about, Brandon Dowdy coming back, leading what was last year's 6th best-ranked offense. And sure, they lost some people like Willie McNeil, but they have people like Antoine Grant coming back, who's going to be a key wide receiver. He missed, I believe, the last 3 or 4 games of the season, so it'll be good to see how he will be able to transition from the injury.
Courtney Lee, we got to read off his stats. In his game last night, he's playing for the Memphis Grizzlies, had 18 points, 2 rebounds, shot 8 for 11. What about that? What about Courtney Lee? That's amazing.
It's so good to see somebody from WKU in the NBA. You know, you see a lot of guys from all the blue blood programs like Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina, the Dukes. But to see a guy succeed from WKU, it's just so good to see.
That's the thing, especially for the Grizzlies, because they're 15-1 when Courtney Lee scores at least 15 or more points in this game. So that's obviously big, and that's something that he needs to continually do throughout the playoffs.
Well, luckily Miranda Kramer didn't sneak into the studio today because we would have struck out.
Instead, we channeled our Anderson Miller late in the 9th against UK and hit a 30-minute home run.
Look for us online at newschannel12live.com/extrapoint.
And on Twitter at extrapointwku, which generally happens on Thursdays. Oh yeah, the Extra Point is up.
And good.